What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Twilight Imperium Junkies podcast. Today you have Rand, and we're going to be doing the Patreon poll episode about breakthroughs. So stick around, we'll walk through them one by one, just casually chat about them. Thanks to everyone who voted for this topic, and let's get started. So what is a breakthrough? A breakthrough is a card, an ability added to each faction in the Thunder's Edge expansion. I kind of love this because it's a bonus ability that's unique to everyone across the board. Kind of how, like Prophecy of Kings gave everyone leaders that had unique ability. That's what Thunder's Edge is doing with breakthroughs. So first one, Arborex's breakthrough. It's called Psychospore. The tech synergy is green-red, and it's an action. Exhaust this card to remove a command token from a system that contains one or more of your infantry and return it to your reinforcements. Then place one infantry in that system. So, bonus movement as Arborec, bonus builds, just spreading more. Kind of love that for them. It's really perfect for their kit and their build as you go ability. We got Argent Flight's breakthrough called Wing Transfer. So the tech synergy, blue-yellow. This one reads, when you activate a system that contains only your units, you may place command tokens from your reinforcements into any system adjacent to that system that contain only your units. At the end of this action, you may move ships among the active system and systems adjacent to it that contain your command tokens. So that's a handful, but basically it is not this simple, but teleporting ships between lockdown systems. It's kind of like Argent Hero, but, little baby version. And that can be pretty good for also getting ships around, moving them around without having to necessarily plan for that in your movements. I actually haven't seen this one in play yet. I haven't seen how it can affect game states, but I am looking forward to it. Our next breakthrough is the Barony's breakthrough, called Gravleash Maneuvers, blue-red tech synergy. This one reads, before you roll dice during space combat, apply plus X to the result of one of your ship's rolls, where X is the number of ship types you have in the combat. During movement, your non-fighter ship's move values are equal to the highest move value amongst moving ships in the system they started in. So that's two separate and powerful abilities in one here. You're getting bonus on your dice rolls, based up to a lot, based on how many ships you have in there. And then also your ship movements are getting a buff. So this is really awesome because Barony doesn't have that many powerful game-altering abilities as is before this, in my opinion. And this really just levels up everything that they did or didn't have going on. This is a scary one, I would say. Next, we're going to go through the Clan of Sar's breakthrough, the Orbit Barrage. So we also have blue-red synergy for this one. And this one is an action. You exhaust this card and spend any amount of resources to choose a planet up to 2 systems away from an asteroid field that contains your ships. Roll a number of dice equal to the amount spent and assign 1 hit to a ground force on that planet for each roll of 4 or greater. So this is pretty cool. The range it can hit is awesome because it's up to 2 systems away from an asteroid field, which I think really enhances this as opposed to if it was just 1 system away. And you get how much you give, which is really cool. So it's kind of like the Plague action card, but it hits better, and you do have to pay for it, but you could do it every round because it's your breakthrough. So that's fun. That's good for dealing with some powerful infantry factions, Yin, Sardak, Arborec, especially with these new breakthroughs they have. And this one also kind of ties back to the theme of their hero, which also destroys a bunch of infantry in addition to fighters. I kind of like that thematic relevance. Next is Council Caleris. Their synergy is yellow-green, and their breakthrough is IIHQ Modernization. When you gain this card, gain the Custodia of Vigilia planet card and its legendary planet ability. You are neighbors with all players that have units or control planets in or adjacent to the Mechatol Rex system. So, you may have seen this before, you might recognize it, and it's because this used to be a tech for Caleres, and now it's their breakthrough. And that tech has been replaced with something else. Something I think is pretty cool. You kind of vote on an agenda mid-action phase. But they didn't lose their Custodia Vigilia ability, because here it is seen in their breakthrough. So I actually just played a Total War game with someone. Shoutouts to you, you know who you are. Who was playing Caleres and was totally wiped off the board except for this breakthrough. And they weren't eliminated despite not having units because of this breakthrough. So the classic Caleres anti-elimination strategy is still out there for those who care. Next, we got Crimson Rebellion's breakthrough. So this one's called the Resonance Generator. And the synergy is blue-red. During your tactical actions, apply +1 to the move value of each of your ships that start in your home system or in a system that contains an active breach. Also, as an action, you can exhaust this card to flip any breach or place an active breach in a non-home system that contains your units. So, placing a breach, moving extra when you're leaving a breach or your home system, pretty sweet. We're never going to complain about extra ways to gain movement. And we should note that the Crimson Rebellion does start with their breakthrough unlocked, so right out the bat, that +1 is going. Next, we got the Deep Rot Scholaret. Visionaria Select is the name of their breakthrough. Yellow-green synergy. It's an action. Exhaust this card to allow each other player to spend 3 trade goods and give you 1 promissory note. Each player that does may research a non-faction, non-unit upgrade technology. You also gain each technology researched this way. Spicy, juicy, gives value to other people, definitely gives value to you. Lots of interesting ways to use this. Lots of interesting takes on if it's worth it for the player gaining tech, if it's worth it to give Deep Rot so much tech. The promissory note is just an additional payment. I've seen someone nullify that part and give the promissory note back, maybe suggesting that it is so much value. I don't know. But I do like that it does bring us higher into the tech tree sooner, and for it combines kind of with their other abilities, so you can really jump up the tech tree faster, no matter who you are at the table. That I love. I love that. Okay, next let's talk about Embers of Muat. Stellar Genesis. Red, yellow synergy. When you gain this card, place the Avernus planet token into a non-home system that is adjacent to a planet you control. Gain control of and ready it. After you move one of your War Suns out or through Avernus' system and into a non-home system, you may move the Avernus token with it. So, you get a planet. It's a legendary planet. It has an ability. And you get to move it around with your War Sun. So that's, that's fun, moving planets. That's a mechanic we haven't gotten to see in TI before. And it is cool that you could lose this planet. Other people could gain it. I kind of like that. I like the flexibility there. I like that it just adds a piece to the board that everyone is able to interact with if they so choose. If you want to upset the Muat and their War Suns like that, I don't know. I don't know that I recommend it. But if Avernus is your pie on the windowsill, go for it. Next, we got Emirates of Hakan Auto Factories. Red-yellow synergy also. When you produce 3 or more non-fighter ships, place 1 command token from your reinforcements into your fleet pool. So, I actually just played a game using this breakthrough for the first time, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought it would be kind of a nothing breakthrough, just an extra command token here and there. But as Hakan, you can do a lot of building throughout the round. You can build off warfare, you could build off construction primary, you can build off multiple docks, you can eventually use your hero, and it does really add up. So even though Hakan's already rich, that extra fleet token every round, or more than a fleet token every round, adds up by the end of the game. And the best part is, you gain the fleet token when you're producing, which means you can use that fleet token as part of your build. If you're building, I don't know, 3 non-fighter ships and you have 2 fleet tokens, not a problem. You will gain a third. You can keep the ships. Pretty nice. I would suggest always trying to produce 3 or more non-fighter ships because you might as well get this ability to pop off. Next, we have the Empyrean, and their breakthrough is Void Tether. So when you activate a system, it is a green-blue synergy. When you activate a system that contains or is adjacent to a unit or planet you control, you may place or move one of your Void Tether tokens onto a border that system shares with another system. Other players do not treat those systems as adjacent to each other unless you allow it. So this is cool, because you're also getting tokens you add onto the board, so new components, and you're blocking paths, like, for realsies. No light wave, no shenanigans to get around this. You just have to stooge for the Empyrean and hope they allow it. I like that. I like breakthroughs and abilities and general things that impact how other people have to navigate the board. Really cool. Next, we have the Federation of Soul, Bellum Gloriosum, and the synergy is yellow-green. When you produce a ship that has capacity, you may also produce any combination of ground forces or fighters up to that ship's capacity. They do not count against your production limit. So, in case you thought the Soul was crazy enough with how many things they carry with their fighters and their infantries and their yada yadas, yes, you can build that flagship that has 12 capacity and get 12 bonus productions of ground forces and fighters. Note, it says ground forces, so it can be mechs. That don't even count against the production limit. So your big build just got way bigger as Soul. That's kind of nice. You're pretty much always producing ships that have capacity as Soul. So I don't want to say you never have to old school produce a ground fighter, a ground force or a fighter ever again, but I don't know. Guess I just said it. Okay, next, the Firmament and the Obsidian. So this breakthrough switches when you purge the Firmament faction to turn into the Obsidian. You start with the Sowing, which is yellow-green synergy. When you gain this card, at the start of the status phase, you may place up to 3 of your trade goods on this card. Flip this card if you become the Obsidian faction. So when you flip it, it turns into the Reaping, same synergy. You place 1 trade good from the supply on this card each time you win a combat against a puppeted player. At the start of the status phase, gain all trade goods on this card, then gain an equal number of trade goods from the supply. So, you're definitely reaping the rewards here. You're gaining all those trade goods, and you're doubling however many trade goods are on there. So, a rich game could be a really rich game here if you play these cards right, if you flip at the right time, if you stooge in the right places. Next, we have Ghost of Creus, Particle Synthesis, Blue-Yellow Synergy. Each wormhole in a system that contains your ships gains production 1 as if it were a unit you control. Reduce the combined costs of units you produce in systems that contain wormholes by 1 for each wormhole in that system. So, producing more, producing for cheaper, and the wormhole next is producing for much cheaper. And, producing where you're meant to be as the ghosts, the wormholes. This kind of eliminates any issues they have in terms of getting their ships out there from where they're producing them, whether it's home or a different dock. You kind of can produce your ships out there, which is nice. They're already out there. I love it. It's beautiful and it's super thematic and on point. Next, we have the Lizix Mindsnet. Their breakthrough is called Fealty Uplink. Red-green. When you gain control of a planet, place infantry from your reinforcements equal to that planet's influence value on that planet. Yikes, you take Mechatol Rex, you drop 6 infantry on there. How nice. How nice. This is an incredible breakthrough to start your game with, just as L1, collecting those planets around you getting a few extra infantry, because why not? Because that means when you move further forward, you can leave some infantry behind and defend those planets. It's very nice. It, I think, kind of makes up for starting out with one, movement dreads, because you can only carry so much. And this way, you don't have to leave things empty. You can carry so much, but just spontaneously create so much as well. So it's nice. It's a good balance. I'm down. Next, we have the last bastion. Their breakthrough is the icon, red-yellow synergy. When you produce ships, you may exhaust this card to place those ships in a system that contains one of your command tokens, at least one of your ground forces, and no other player's ships. So, teleporty wherever you want. Kind of like the Argent's breakthrough, but less limiting, I think. A little more straightforward, less math and less where's my token, where am I producing, are there other people's units, are there not? This one you kind of just teleport to anywhere you have ground forces, of course, where there are no other player ships. So that's nice, and uh it is an exhaust, so you only do it once per round, but you can teleport all your ships wherever, pretty much, basically, in a sense. So you could even use this to defend Mechatol in a way, have one ground force there, someone just attacked you, produce a bunch of ships, and I would like to place those ships on Mechatol. Love that. Can't wait for that to happen to me. Okay, Mahakt Gene Sorcerers. Their breakthrough, yellow-green synergy, Vaults of the Air. It's an action. You exhaust this card and purge one of your technologies to gain a relic. So this is intense. It's powerful. There are plenty of technologies that could be purged without much consequence. And this can be just like an unhinged endgame moment when all is lost. Maybe there's still a shard in there. Maybe there's an obsidian. Maybe you are looking for the crown of Infidia. And you can just go ahead and... It is an action, so you can only do it once per round. So it's not like it all goes in endgame. But there are workarounds. There is ML par. That's pretty much the only workaround. But, yeah, I guess you would have to do it every round and slowly make your way there. So I guess as Mahakt players going forward, budget your tech to account for that relic you are entitled to. Next, we have my babies, the Mentak. Their breakthrough, the Table's Grace, or flipped Corsair. The synergy is yellow-green. If you have the Cruiser 2 unit upgrade technology, flip this card and place it on top of Cruiser 2. So you flip it, you turn it into the Corsair, which reads, if the Actum system contains another player's non-fighter ships, this unit can move through systems that contain other players' ships. It costs 2, its combat value is 6, and moves 3, and its capacity is 2. So, Cruiser 2 with situational light wave that has capacity 2. I think that upped capacity is crucial for the Mentak cruisers. I think they are certainly a cruiser faction, and they are quite hindered in late game by how little capacity their Cruiser 2s had. Now we have Cruiser 3s, baby. We're good. This is going to up our game, double our infantry. It'll be nice. Next, we have the Nalu Collective. Their synergy is red-green Mind Sieve. When you would resolve the secondary ability of another player's strategy card, you may give them a promissory note to resolve it without spending a command token. So this could be seen as equal value, but it really does help in a pinch. You can use it as many times, so if there's a token crisis, worry not. It does give you something to use all the promissory notes you collect with your hero. Sometimes they just end up sitting there, or it's too late in the game, or whatever. At least there's something you can do with them now. Lovely. Next, we have the Nazroka Alliance. Their breakthrough absolute synergy. The tech colors are green, blue. When you have 4 mechs in the same system, you may return 3 of those mechs to reinforcements to flip this card and place it on top of your mech. you flip it into Eidolon Maximum. This unit is both a ship and a Grand Force. It cannot be assigned hits from unit abilities, so it can't be bombarded or whatever. Repair it at the start of every combat round. Game effects cannot place or produce your mechs. When this unit is destroyed or removed, flip this card and return it to your play area. It has sustained damage, it has move 3, and it has combat hits on 4 with 4 dice. So definitely Eidolon Maximum here. Pretty cool. Mega mech. And again, I love how on theme these breakthroughs are. It just adds so much to the TI world, to the TI experience. Next we have Necrovirus. I love this. No tech synergy. When you would gain another player's technology using one of your faction abilities, you may instead place one of your Z assimilator tokens on that player's faction sheet. Your flagship gains the text abilities of that faction's flagship in addition to its own. Wow. Talk about the Alistair getting a buff. Talk about how you have many Z assimilator tokens and can add everyone's flagship ability to your own. I haven't gotten the chance to use this amazing breakthrough yet, but let me tell you, I can't wait. It's gonna be, I don't want to say the happiest day of my life, but it's gonna be pretty damn close. Next, we have the Nomad, Thunder's Paradox. The synergy is yellow-green. At the start of any player's turn, you may exhaust one of your agents to ready any other agent. So that's kind of cool. Like it's almost like ML par, but obviously more unlimited to what you can ready. And it's one of those things that gets more and more powerful depending on how powerful the game's agents are, like what factions are playing. Flexibility requires wheeling and dealing. I enjoy that kind of breakthrough for sure. Next, we have the Raal Nel. Their synergy is yellow-green. During the action phase, this is the data skimmer. During the action phase, while you're not passed, other players' action cards are discarded on top of this card. When you pass, choose one action card on this card, add it to your hand, and discard the rest. I love this breakthrough. I think it's very powerful. I think people play around it because of how powerful it is, and that's fine. Let them hold on to their cards for longer. Let them be afraid to sabotage. Let them. I think that's part of the power of the data skimmer, kind of altering when, how, and why people would play things. And you get your goodies in the meantime. I love it. Just noting that you're only collecting the cards on this breakthrough when you're not passed. So that is how people play around it and what to keep into account when you are playing, when you are passing, when you're stooging, when you're living. Next, we have the Sardax breakthrough, Nor Supremacy. It's a blue-red synergy, which is great synergy, and it reads, after you win a combat, either gain one command token or research a unit upgrade technology. So, fight away. Go live your best bug life. You get to do a lot with it. It's encouraging fighting big time because there are some big time rewards here. Pretty awesome. Really helps with their tech issue that they don't have to traditionally research their unit upgrade techs. They have an alternate route and they can spend their tech researches on more important things like red technologies that are going to make everyone else at the table sad. It's going to be great. Next, we have the Titans, yellow-green synergy, slumber state computing. So, when coalescence results in a ground combat, if you commit no other units, you may choose for your units to coexist instead. During the status phase, for each player that you're coexisting with, you and that player each draw one action card. Other players may allow you to place a sleeper token on a planet they control. Okay, so giving the coexistence ability to another faction, giving co-bonuses, so it's not just the Titans drawing an action card, but also the other player. Although it stacks for the Titans, so if they're neighbors with 5 players, they get 5 action cards. Or not neighbors, I'm sorry, coexisting with 5 players. And each of those 5 players only gets 1. So that is kind of neat. If we're talking about an 8-player game, there's a world where you draw 7 action cards in the status phase. So you're just changing your whole hand of action cards. That's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Next, we have Jol-Nar. They also have yellow-green synergy, specialized compounds. When you research technology using the tech strategy card, you may exhaust a planet that has a technology specialty instead of spending resources. If you do, you must research a technology of that color. So, cheaper tech. Cheaper tech. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward, pretty much it. Kind of like makes their agent a little less useful for them. So it's kind of like, I guess now you want to sell the agent and use this, if that makes sense for you. So it is kind of a wheelie and dealy breakthrough, I think, but I haven't seen it played out so much, so I am curious to see what it's like. Next we have Cabal. Their synergy is red-green. Alwraith Ixianovar. Definitely butchered that. This breakthrough causes the fracture to enter play without a roll, if it's not already in play. After this card enters play, move up to 2 Ingress tokens into systems that contain gravity rifts. Apply +1 to the move value of each of your ships that start their movement in the fracture. So, very fracture-oriented. It comes out no matter what. If you have Cabal in the game and they can get their breakthrough. You move 2 Ingress tokens, which is kind of awesome. And you can move one to your home system, because that's a system that has a gravity rift as long as your dock is there. That's wild. That's pretty cool. And then you get +1 move value when you're starting in there. So Cabal is very much a fracture faction now. That's undeniable with this breakthrough. It's kind of where they want to go. So let them go. Next we have the Winnu. Their synergy, red-blue, Imperator. Apply +1 to the results of each of your unit's combat rolls for each support of the throne in your opponent's play area. After you activate a system that contains a legendary planet, apply +1 to the move value of one of your ships during this tactical action. So 2 parts to it. Additional value to your combat rolls based on how supported the other player is. How many stooges they have, let's say. And then you get a bonus to 1 ship when you're going to a legendary planet. Not bad. And Mecatol is now a legendary planet, so that is the most common iteration of this breakthrough, I would imagine. Which is beautiful. I'm not complaining. I'd love to get a little bonus movement, get to Mecatol faster. Probably helps Winnu keep their status of a Mecatol faction when all these other fellers have gotten fun bonuses that might have otherwise interfered with it. Okay, next is Extra Kingdom. Their synergy, yellow-green, Archon's Gift. You can spend influence as if it were resources. You can spend resources as if it were influence. So kind of making up for their old hero, which has changed in Thunder's Edge. So you still have that flexible, spending stuff available despite their new hero. Straightforward, easy, and very extra-like. Next, Yin Brotherhood, yellow-green synergy. The breakthrough is Yin Ascendant. When you gain this card and score a public objective, gain the alliance ability of a random unused faction. Woo! So this is a lot because you could score publics off of Imperial, and then during the round, and basically if you have this breakthrough early game, you're just gonna end the game with a bunch of alliance abilities, some useless, some super powerful. And it's a fun random mix-up because you don't even know how powerful Yin Ascendant's going to be going into a game. I think it's pretty cool. Last but not least, we have the Yssaril Tribes. Their synergy, yellow-green. Their breakthrough is Deep Gloom Executable. You can allow other players to use your stall tactics or scheming faction abilities. When you do, you may resolve a transaction with that player. During the action phase, the transaction does not count against the once per player transaction limit for that turn. So, interesting, because that last part means you can use it for some weird, like, I need to give you 2 promissory notes right now kind of deal, or receive 2 promissory notes, or whatever it might be. This is an interesting one because you're giving them what makes you special, but at the same time, if you give them scheming, there's more action cards available out there. If you give them stall tactics, that just might be helpful for slaying someone, or, just general table pacing. A little less straightforward of a breakthrough. You really gotta scratch your head and think about, how am I gonna sell this to other people? How am I gonna make them interested? And how am I gonna benefit from it? Do I even benefit from it? Because you might not always. So really reading the situation, doing the math, as we would say, and seeing what's best for you. And those are all the faction breakthroughs. We have all types of genres: combat, movement, monetary, unit production, planet control. We have all types of synergy combinations in terms of tech colors. We have just a fun new things to keep track of when it comes to other players and your own stuff. I love new components, and I love TI, love in Thunder's Edge. This is just a beautiful addition to our kits, and I'm really looking forward to getting more games in, because there's a lot left to see with these new toys. And I'm really looking forward to experiencing all of it, every combo. So thank you again for listening. Thanks to all you beautiful patrons who voted for this topic. Our next poll is out now, so let us know, what do you want to hear about in June? You might have noticed that the podcasts are coming out less frequently, so definitely go vote, because that's most of the content here. Have a lovely day, you guys. Happy TIing, and may you find your best stooges. Good luck out there.